Hi, I'm Jeffrey. Welcome back to Night Falls. Come, settle in for tonight's calming meditation and soothing bedtime story. As always, don't worry if you fall asleep before the end. You can drift off whenever you're ready. Before we begin, I'd like to say thank you to those of you who have completed our survey. As per your requests, we are now bringing you longer episodes, so you can be sure to be fast asleep before the end of tonight's tale. Please, continue giving your feedback via the link in the show notes. I really enjoy getting to know how you have been finding my stories. Now, take a pew by the fireside and allow your mind to be transported to New York City's Central Park for a relaxing fall walk. Nestled in the heart of bustling New York City, Central Park is a fortitude of peace and tranquility for lifelong New Yorkers and tourists alike. I find there's something wonderfully relaxing about an autumn walk. Just as the leaves fall from the trees and nature makes way for autumn, the change in seasons allows me a moment to reflect and look forward to the coming months. Before our mindful walk through Central Park begins, let's take a moment to wind down from the day. Come to a comfortable position and allow your eyes to gently drift closed as you release the muscles of your brow and your jaw. Take a moment to relax as you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Enjoy this moment of stillness all to yourself as your breath flows ever so effortlessly in and out, in and out, in and out again. Perhaps you can even taste the fresh air as it filters deeper into your lungs on your in-breath and washes out over your lips as you exhale. As you lie there relaxing, notice that with each breath, your mind is beginning to clear. Thoughts of the day and feelings you've yet to shake are washed from your mind as you draw a deep breath in and exhale, allowing those intrusive thoughts to drain from your body on your out-breath. Each cycle of breath restores your inner peace and sense of calm. Perhaps you find that as your mind begins to clear, you're finally able to tune into the sounds in the world around you. Send your attention out beyond the bounds of the building you're in and into the natural world. As you sink deeper into relaxation, you begin to hear the midnight chatter of the birds and the squirrels out scurrying in search of their acorns. You can hear the wind carrying through the trees and rustling the leaves. And now, If you're feeling ready, our walk through Central Park can begin. There's a sort of contentment like no other you'll find in the city than that which you feel walking around Central Park. It is a hub that attracts newcomers and veteran New Yorkers alike. No matter how many times you've been there, you always feel the same way. Refreshed, inspired, satisfied. You feel like you've stepped into another world, outside of the city, an oasis of greenery, water, art, and people. I often like to take the time to fill up a cup of something warm and take a stroll around Central Park. And there is no better day to do it than on a cool, bright day in October. I wrap myself up warm in my long trench coat, pull a woolly hat over my head, and wrap a checkered scarf around my shoulders. I pull on my comfiest pair of lace-up boots and a pair of thick socks. Fill my thermos flask with a perfectly brewed herbal tea and set out to Central Park. As you walk through the midst of the rushing streets of the city, the pavements start to become lined by trees, and the path starts to veer away from the roads, cars and tall buildings, and lead you into an area lush with greenery and wildlife. And then, when you enter Central Park, you are suddenly immersed in greenery. Everywhere you look. As soon as I crossed the threshold and stepped foot onto one of the paths that encompass the whole park, winding and twisting their way in so many directions, I feel like I've entered a new world. Trees with bright green leaves hang overhead on my left-hand side, and a tall black lamplight stands proudly, ready to guide my way at night, should I need it. To my right, I see a large area of grass slanting up a hillside, with a regal stone monument positioned at the forefront. People are already sat around enjoying the area, but I'm keen to venture deeper into the park to enjoy all that it has to offer. I close my eyes, take a deep breath in, and sigh. The scent of freshly cut grass and crisp October air flows through my nose and into my body. The bustle of the city outside fades away, and all is quiet and peaceful here. It's a little slice of tranquility in the midst of one of the busiest cities in the world. I continue walking along the path and deeper into the heart of Central Park. In each direction I turn, there are lawns of grass and great big trees that spread around the edge, shutting out the city. I gaze to my right and spot a small section of the lake, surrounded by groups of people sitting on picnic blankets. The lake spans for miles, and almost everywhere you turn, you were lucky enough to catch a glimpse of it. Beyond the lake and the trees, the tall buildings of New York City shoot up into the air. Even when you walk deep into the heart of this oasis, you are reminded of the amazing city outside, by the skyscrapers and buildings in the far-off distance. I follow the path around to the right and draw closer to the lake. I feel a rush of wind against my body as a jogger races past me from the opposite direction. Central Park is a popular spot for people exercising, but I prefer to take it all in at a slower pace. I stroll with the lake on my left and a long row of green benches to my right, where people sit, reading, talking, and enjoying the view of the water. I sit down on a bench at the far end of the row, close to the water's edge, and underneath the swaying branches of a tree, sporting white blossom. Close my eyes, take a deep breath in, and focus on what I can hear. The water is still, aside from the faint paddling of little feet in the river, most likely coming from a flock of ducks, and the light splashing of water as they move. My ears hone in on the gentle chatter of people nearby, and the padding of footsteps on the pavement as they walk past. The ticking of a bike pedal rises and falls in my ears as I assume it passes by. I note the wind whistling through the tree branches above me and enjoy the noise of tender rustling petals brushing against one another in the breeze. In the distance, I swear that I can hear a faded melody coming from some sort of musical instrument. A violin, perhaps. I decide to seek out the music. I open my eyes and follow the call of the music. We follow the path and turn a corner which leads to a set of wide stairs, leading up a slanted verge. I walk beneath the overhanging trees and up the steps, noticing how the tweeting of birds emanates from the trees as I walk beneath them. I love listening to the sweet sounds of wildlife here in the park. I reach the top of the steps and come to a crossroads which leads off in many directions. The air is buzzing here, and I can sense that I'm nearing the delightful music as it grows clearer in my ears. I spot a stone bridge to my right, and decide to walk that way, anticipating it will lead me to exciting destinations. I wrap my coat tighter around my body and saunter across the bridge. There are people leaning against the high stone walls, and some sitting on top, while their friends take pictures. I decide to pause and check out the view, and I'm not disappointed. Glance over the left-hand side of the bridge to see the waters of the lake below and a rocky verge beyond, covered in tall trees in vibrant fall colours of greens, reds, and oranges. The leaves are starting to turn, and the multicoloured delight is a sight to my eyes. Behind the stunning autumnal views of nature, huge apartment blocks and glass buildings sneak up into the sky. As I said before, you get the best of both worlds here in Central Park. A peaceful haven in the middle of a city. You're never too far away from plenty to do and numerous sights to see, but also relaxing, beautiful, tranquil spots. A bird takes flight and glides over the top of the lake, landing and perching on a rock on the other side. A duck dives under the water, and ripples cascade outwards on the surface of the lake. I smile. I enjoy seeing the wildlife of Central Park going about their business. Sometimes, in the midst of the city, you can forget that there are more than people here, and that we share this city with an abundance of wildlife. Here, by the lake and under the trees of the park, you get the chance to notice the creatures who live here more and appreciate them as they should be. I pause and take a sip of hot tea from my flask. The hot water fills my mouth and my taste buds pop and prickle with delight as the sweet flavours of elderberry and blackcurrant wash over my tongue. I swallow the tea, and it trickles down my throat, warming my body as it goes. The juxtaposition between the cool October air outside and the toasty insides of my body feels delightful. That's why I love walking around Central Park in the fall. The warm sun on my face, mixed with the cold, bracing wind, is just the tonic for re-energizing my body and soul before returning home for a cozy nap under a blanket on the sofa. Today will be no different. I can hear the music coming thicker and faster, but I still can't spot where it's coming from. Continue back on my journey over the arch of the stone bridge and follow the path down. Pass many adults and children as I amble along and smile at everyone I lock eyes with. I finally catch up to the source of the music. It is a man playing the saxophone. He dances from side to side and taps his feet in time to the tune. His eyes are closed, and he seems to be totally overcome by the music. A small audience has gathered nearby to watch his performance. I can't help but stop to enjoy it too. When he finishes the song, he breaks out of his trance and opens his eyes to take in the crowd around him. We all applaud him politely and smile, and a couple of people toss coins into his saxophone case on the ground. I dive into my pocket and find a couple of quarters to throw in too. The coins clang and chime as they land in the velvet case. I turn around to continue on my stroll and notice a man sitting down on a chair, painting, just a little further down the path. He has created a makeshift stall with a number of his canvas paintings propped up on wooden easels for passers-by to see. I love admiring the artists and the thespians that you can often find in Central Park, sharing their art with the world. So I decide to take a closer look. I approach the artist's work and he looks up from his painting and smiles at me. I smile back. I take in the man's art propped up on the easels. He's very talented. There's a painting of Central Park in the rain, with people sheltering underneath umbrellas as they walk around. There is a painting of a couple kissing in front of the Statue of Liberty. There are several different images of local landscapes, monuments, and buildings. I notice that he has a table propped up with several painted prints laid across it too. I use my fingers to rifle through the images. Most of them are close-up portraits of famous celebrities' faces, such as Marilyn Monroe and Audrey Hepburn. There are a couple of prints dedicated to Broadway shows, and a few that are a bit more obscure. I imagine that this artist does very well selling his paintings in the middle of the park. How delightful a story for people to be able to tell that they picked up a painting by an unknown artist in the middle of Central Park. All of a sudden, I notice a little dog scurrying towards me. Its tongue is hanging out of its mouth in excitement, and its tail wags from side to side eagerly. The cute little canine is white with brown splurges of colour across its back. It has two small pointy ears on the top of its head, and big, beady brown eyes that gaze up at me. The delightful pup stops at my feet and affectionately brushes its furry side against my calf. I bend down to pet the little mite, ruffling my fingers across its silky, short-haired back and scratching behind its ears. The dog closes its eyes and pants gratefully. I look up and see the dog's owner just in front of me. He smiles and apologizes for his dog's intrusion. But I quickly brush it off and explain that I love dogs, and the little friendly pup wasn't bothering me at all. I reach into my pocket and feel around for a spare dog treat. I often like to carry around a few doggy biscuits for any adorable pups that come my way. The dog senses what I'm about to do and sits on the ground obediently in front of me. I hold out my hand and the friendly dog lifts its paw to me, and I shake its little hand. This dog is very well trained. I give him a treat from my pocket, and he happily chomps it down. I pat it on the head and stand back up. Happy with its achievement, the jubilant pup starts to skip away, and I continue walking. I continue my journey along the path, passing giant boulders and green shrubbery along the way. Young children hop from boulder to boulder, thrilled by their makeshift playground. I hear them squeal with delight as they jump through the air, and then giggle with relief as they land firmly on the smooth rock on the other side. I keep walking, passing underneath the red bridge and out towards a large open green space. It is bustling with activity here. I pass several baseball pitches where adults and children alike play in friendly matches, and hear the swing of the bat and the beating of the ball as I pass. I hear far-off voices calling out to each other, but they're too far away for me to make out what they're saying. I watch as a ball flies all the way up into the air within my eye line, and a young man races across the field to attempt to catch it. I turn away before I see whether he has made it, because I feel something on the bridge of my nose. Very soft, cold dollop. I touch my finger to my nose and realize that it's a drop of rain. I look up to the sky and the clouds have started to cover over the blue with their icy grey. All around me, people start to pull up their coat hoods and grab their umbrellas in anticipation of the oncoming downpour. Some people retreat beneath trees, unprepared for the sudden change in the weather. But I remain where I am. I stop, lift my head to the sky, and close my eyes. The air grows cooler as the sun hides behind the clouds. The breeze caresses my skin, and I feel my hair ruffle lightly in the wind. I stand there, waiting to feel the refreshing rain upon my face. The raindrops slowly begin to come, one at a time, pattering against my face. Drip, drop. Drip, drop. With each cool water droplet, my smile grows bigger and bigger. Not everybody likes the rain, but I've always adored it. I believe that most people would love it too, if only they stopped to enjoy it for what it is. When you stop running from the rain and embrace it instead, you quickly realize how therapeutic it can be. Rain is cool against your skin. It washes away your worries. And when you let it rain on you, you feel a release of control, a defiance to keeping everything perfect. Rain is messy and imperfect, but it's incredibly necessary for growth and life. It's only fine rain, and I can already see the rain clouds beginning to pass over the park. It won't be long until the sun is shining bright again, once more. I walk over to the black railing that surrounds the lake and look over the side onto the water. As each raindrop touches the surface, tiny ripples form, one after the other. It looks like 1,000 tiny invisible hands are poking the surface of the water, creating holes in the lake that appear and disappear almost in the blink of an eye. I shut my eyes and listen. The sound of raindrops on the water's surface is out of this world. The rushing and swooshing of the two liquid forms pattering against each other is heavenly. I stand and simply listen. The sound is like music to my ears. The rest of the world seems to fade away, blocked out by the white noise of the rain. Take a deep breath in and sigh out. And as I do, the sound of the rain seems to fade away and all falls silent. I no longer feel the cool droplets against my face, and I feel the warmth of the sun's light shining down on me once more. I open my eyes to the sky. It is as clear as if nothing happened at all. I break away from the lakeside and return to the main path. The trees gradually open up to reveal a huge clearing paved with tarmac. A track road runs through the center, and on it, a whole variety of people journey along it in numerous ways. There are cyclists pedaling along, the spokes of their wheels clicking and chugging as they go. Runners sprint at impressive speed, breathing heavily as their feet squeak against the tarmac. Horse-drawn carriages plod and clop along the makeshift road, and men on cycle rickshaws transport tourists who have grown weary or want to enjoy the park in a more comfortable way. Meanwhile, at the sides of the track, pedestrians walk up and down, chatting, listening to music, and taking in the sights around them. This is one of the busier spots of Central Park that I've walked along yet. And as I pass a large metal fence to my right, I realize why. Over the fence is a huge field of fresh green grass dotted with people relaxing, playing, enjoying food, and celebrating together. Everybody looks so happy to be there, breathing in the fresh air. The buildings from the city outside seem like a distant memory, as only the tallest of the skyscrapers can be seen creeping up into the sky beyond the vast trees that surround the field. This looks like the perfect spot to stop and relax. I walk along the path and around to a gap in the fence, and walk across the field towards a large tree that stands regally in the middle. Once I reach the tree, I sit down by the base of its trunk, shielded from prying eyes by the leafy branches above. I lie down on my back, allowing the soft grass to cradle my body, and I close my eyes. I can hear the din of voices around me, but everyone is totally spread out. It's almost private and peaceful here. There's so much space for everyone to have their own area of the field without disturbance. And arguably, my spot is the best spot. I'm far away from any other people, protected and granted privacy by the tree. And I can relax and imagine I'm all alone. With each soothing breath of fresh air, my head feels lighter, and the tension in my forehead melts away. The grass beneath me provides a comfy mattress for my body, and I allow my arms and legs to flop out to the sides, totally loosened. I feel a cool breeze flow across the top of my body. I inhale the refreshing air. My body feels fatigued from the walk, and lying down on the ground feels like much needed relief. I feel sapped of all energy. I think that I've done enough walking for today. There are so many different paths to choose around Central Park. You could keep on walking for hours upon hours and still not manage to walk every route there is available. That's the beauty of the park. Each time you take a walk around Central Park, it's a totally different experience. From the people to the places. It's never the same. I walk back through the city towards my apartment, feeling light and relaxed, as if I'm floating through the streets. The skyscrapers tower above me, making me feel small, more connected somehow, like I'm a tiny piece of this huge city, one of many. I feel connected to the city and the crowds around me. I find comfort in belonging to a crowd, and peace from belonging to a big crowd, in which I can enjoy my own little slice of privacy. I pass many people laughing and bustling through the streets. They gather around food trucks, and stand in crowds to cross the streets as yellow taxis zoom by. Watch them, feeling completely relaxed and appreciative. I appreciate all of the colors and sights, the many people and charming buildings. I pass by quietly and calmly, strolling gently through the busy streets, unaffected by any sense of rushing or hurriedness. Before long, I reach my apartment building, take the elevator up to my floor, enjoying its warmth and quiet, as it whirs softly, and brings me closer and closer to the comfort of my home. I walk into my apartment and bask in its warmth and familiarity. This is my space, my little haven, set quietly in amongst the beautiful city. I'm weary, but grateful for the relaxation and escape from reality brought from my day in the park. I kick off my boots, strip off my hat, scarf and coat, and lay down on the comfortable sofa. I pull the wool blanket down and across me, like I always do, and close my eyes. I can feel my body settling down. My limbs feel heavy and give way, relinquishing all their control and allowing the sofa to cradle them tenderly. I can hear nothing here in my apartment. The world outside is shut out. I breathe in and I breathe out. And every exhale feels like total bliss. With every breath, my body feels more and more relaxed. I breathe in and breathe out, dreaming of the park and the serenity that it always brings me. I breathe in and I breathe out. I breathe in and I breathe out. I breathe in and I breathe out.